Is there a more toxic feeling in sports than walking into a room where everyone knows you were almost replaced? We need to have a brutally honest conversation about the Philadelphia Phillies because while the roster looks pristine on a spreadsheet, the vibes in the clubhouse might be on the verge of a total meltdown. Welcome back, everyone. As we inch closer to pitchers and catchers reporting to Clearwater, a shadow has been cast over Citizens Bank Park. We aren't talking about injury concerns or contract disputes. We are talking about a breach of trust that could define the entire 2026 campaign before a single pitch is thrown. The latest bombshell report from The Athletic's Jim Bowden has ripped the Band-Aid off a wound we all thought had healed, and it reveals that the Phillies front office wasn't just browsing for upgrades, they were headhunting. The report confirms that Dave Dombrowski and his team were aggressively pursuing Arizona Diamondbacks superstar Ketel Marte. Let's be crystal clear about what this means. This wasn't a check-in call. This was a concerted effort to acquire a switch-hitting, MVP-caliber talent to fundamentally reshape the infield. We already knew the Phillies swung and missed on Bo Bichette, who took his talents to the Mets, a move that still stings every fan in the Delaware Valley. But the pursuit of Marte is different. It signals a specific dissatisfaction with the current configuration. It tells us that despite the public votes of confidence, the brass does not believe the current infield is good enough to win a World Series. And who is the primary victim of this ambition? It's the man who has occupied the hot corner through highs and lows, Alec Bohm. Context is everything here. Alec Bohm is coming off a tenure where he has battled every demon imaginable, from defensive struggles to that infamous "I love this place" moment. He fought back to become an all-star in 2024, proving his worth with the bat. Yet, for the second consecutive winter, he finds himself dangling in the trade winds like a piece of unwanted furniture. Imagine the psychological toll. You give your heart to a city, you produce at an all-star level, and your reward is watching your bosses desperately try to replace you with a shiny new toy from the desert. This feels personal. It feels like a relationship where one partner is constantly looking over the shoulder of the other, waiting for something better to walk through the door. The pursuit of Marte wasn't just business. It was a statement that the Phillies view Bohm as an upgradable asset, not a cornerstone. And now, because Arizona GM Mike Hazen slammed the door shut, the Phillies have to awkwardly welcome Bohm back and pretend he wasn't their second choice. That is a recipe for disaster. Let's dissect the mechanics of this phantom trade, because it reveals exactly how the Phillies view their own roster deficiencies. If the Ketel Marte deal had gone through, the domino effect would have been fascinating. The plan, theoretically, was to slide Bryson Stott, arguably one of the best defensive second basemen in the league, over to third base. This would have opened second base for Marte. This tells us two things. First, the front office values Marte's switch-hitting power and versatility over the stability Bohm provides. Second, and more damningly, it is a direct indictment of Bohm's second-half fade in 2024. The power outage and the inconsistency at the plate clearly spooked the decision-makers enough to make them willing to disrupt the defensive geometry of the entire infield. But here is where the situation gets murky and dangerous. Jim Bowden suggests that while Arizona said no today, their stance could change. He hinted that a robust offer, or perhaps an injury elsewhere in the league during spring training, could pry the door open again. Do you realize what that does to a player? It means Alec Bohm is walking into the season as a lame duck. He knows that if he slumps in April, the rumors won't just restart, they will scream. He is playing with the sword of Damocles hanging over his head. We have seen this story play out in baseball history before. Remember when the Lakers tried to trade Pau Gasol for Chris Paul, the deal fell through, and it took months to repair the relationship? The Phillies are risking that exact level of dysfunction in a sport that relies heavily on daily chemistry. Furthermore, we have to look at the standing pat risk. Aside from retaining pillars like Kyle Schwarber and JT Realmuto, and adding Brad Keller to the pen, the Phillies haven't made the splash that the Dodgers or Braves typically make. They tried to dismantle the infield and failed. So, the narrative is set. We tried to get better, couldn't. So here is the same team again. That puts immense pressure on the front office. If the Phillies start slow, the fans will rightfully ask why they didn't pay the price for Marte. And let's not forget Bohm's contract status. He is approaching free agency. By trying to trade him twice, the Phillies have signaled they have zero intention of extending him long-term. He is a depreciating asset. If he has a monster year, he walks. If he tanks, they have a hole at third base during a championship window. It is a high-stakes game of poker, and right now, it looks like the Phillies are bluffing with a hand they don't entirely love. So, where does this leave us as we stare down the barrel of the 2026 season? We are left with a reality that is both comforting and deeply unsettling. The comforting part is that the Plan B is still a roster loaded with stars like Wheeler, Nola, Harper, and Turner. This is a team that can win 95 games in its sleep. But the unsettling part is the human element. You cannot treat human beings like assets on a spreadsheet and expect zero emotional fallout. Alec Bohm reads the reports. He has Twitter. He knows the team wanted Bo Bichette. He knows they hunted Ketel Marte. How he responds to this rejection will define the Philly season. We are looking at two potential outcomes. Outcome A, the crumble. The pressure of being unwanted weighs him down. He presses at the plate, tries to do too much to prove his worth, and spirals into a slump that drags the offense down. Outcome B, the revenge tour. We have seen the contract year phenomenon before, where a player fueled by pure spite and the pursuit of a massive paycheck puts up MVP numbers just to stick it to the front office. Phillies fans have to pray for outcome B. This is where the leadership of Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber becomes the most important factor. They need to circle the wagons. They need to make Bohm feel like their third baseman, regardless of what Dave Dombrowski thinks. The daycare vibes, the camaraderie that has been this team's superpower, that is being tested right now more than any losing streak ever could. Ultimately, the pursuit of Ketel Marte is a story of ambition meeting reality. It shows the Phillies are desperate to win and willing to sacrifice continuity to do it. You have to respect the hustle, even if the execution left a mess in aisle 3. But now, the rumors must stop. The focus must shift. There is no magical savior coming from Arizona. It's going to be Bohm, Stott, Turner, and Harper. It's time to lock in. I want to hear from you, the heartbeat of this franchise. Do you think the Phillies made a mistake by publicly chasing replacements for Bohm? Does this damage the locker room irreparably, or is it just the ruthless business of baseball? And if you were Alec Bohm, how would you handle this season? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one because your passion drives this channel. If you want the unfiltered truth about the Phillies all season long, smash that like button and subscribe right now. Let's turn this uncertainty into fuel. Let's play ball.